Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone is doing okay. So today we're going to learn how to make this trendy beaded clutch purse with a metal clasp. This tutorial is a subscriber's request. In fact, I had 4 requests for this bag in a day and I was like, what? Okay, this is really important. I'm gonna try my best to explain in detail how I recreated this bag. There are actually different methods to make this bag, but I found this one to be the easiest and the most helpful. Let's get on with it. For this tutorial, you need a clutch handle. This is what they look like. This one I got in particular has 23 holes on both sides. You can also search for kiss lock handles. This one right here is just a regular clutch handle, okay? You'd also need some beads. Today we're going to use these crystal beads in size 8mm. I got about 25 strands of this. You'd also need your fishing line. Today we'll use 0.50mm, and lastly your scissors. That is all we'll need for this project. Let's go. To start, we want to open our clutch handle like this till it looks something like a square. Okay, like this. Now I want you to look closely at these first 2 holes right there on one side of the clutch. Those first 2 holes right there. So we're going to pass our line, cut out some line, okay? We're going to pass it from beneath the second hole. Okay, we'll pass our line through that. Then we're going to connect it to the first hole like this till both ends of the line come out from the bottom part of the clutch. Do you understand that? Draw out your line, make sure both ends are of equal length. Then we're going to flip it over to make sure the bottom part of the clutch is now facing upwards. Let's turn that over for a better view. Now we're going to take one bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead like this. Then you draw that all the way down. And this is what you have. Alright, to proceed, on the left hand side of the line, I'm going to add 3 beads. Then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw that all the way down. And now, this is what we did. We just created our first ring. To proceed, this time on the right hand side of the line, I will add 1 bead first. Now look closely. I'm going to connect that bead into the next hole right there. That hole there, you're going to pass your line through it like this. Draw that down. Make sure you tighten your work, okay? And this is what you have. Next step, I will still take that right hand side of my line and connect it into the previous hole right there. That is the second hole we went into earlier. But I will connect it from beneath. I will connect it to the second hole. That is the previous hole. Okay, I hope you understand that. Connect it there. Then I connect it to the bead I added right there. I'm going to go into that bead. Make sure your work is tight, okay? Keep tugging at it. You do not want this part of your work to be loose, because once that happens, it will affect the entire bag. We are finally done with that, and this is what we have so far. To proceed, on the left hand side of the line, we are going to add 2 beads this time. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added, and we draw that all the way down. Now we have made our second ring. This is how it looks like. Let's proceed. We want to create the third ring now. So firstly, we're going to add 1 bead to the right hand side of our line, then connect it to the next hole right there. We're going to go into that hole. Once that's done, we'll then connect to the previous hole. We're going to do so from beneath. Okay, we're going to go beneath the previous hole Draw that out, then we connect it into that bead we added like this. And yeah, do you remember what comes next? On the left hand side, we are going to add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Now we have done 3 rings so far. So let me take you through this process one more time before I leave you to do the rest of this on your own. So before we connect to the next hole, we add 1 bead first to the right hand side of our line, then we connect it to the next hole. Once that is done, from beneath we'll go into the previous hole, then we connect it to the bead we added there. We'll draw that out. Make sure your work is tight. Once that is done, you will then add 2 beads to the left hand side of your line, then you cross both ends into the last one added. And yeah, we have made our 4th ring. So you want to keep up with this step until you get all around this part of the clutch. Do this until you get to the second to the last one, okay? So let's go. I have beaded all the way around this part of the clutch, and this is what it looks like so far. I am on the second to the last one, like I said earlier. So let's complete it. On the left hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads, then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Now it is complete. It is now time to create the last one. So as usual, I will connect it to the next hole. I will add 1 bead first, then connect it to the next hole there. Once that is done, from beneath I will go into the previous hole. Then I'll connect it to the bead I added there. Draw that out. Make sure your work is super tight, okay? It is now time to complete the last one. This time I won't be adding 2 beads to the left. I'm going to add it to the right hand side instead. Why? Because this will allow me to create a new row. So let's do that. On the right hand side, we are going to add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So look at what it does. It takes us to the other side. It takes us to the other side right here and not the top. Do you understand that? Alright, it is now time to create a new row. We have done 1 complete row. So on the left hand side, we are going to start with 3 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Then we draw that all the way down. And this is what we have. We just created the first ring on the second row. To proceed, the right hand side of the line will go into the next bead there. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Then we draw that all the way down. So we have made the second ring on the second row. To proceed, we repeat what we just did. The right hand side would go into the next bead. Then on the left hand side, we are going to add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So you want to keep up with this step, okay, until you get all around this part. The right hand side will go into the next bead. The left hand side, you add 2 beads and cross into the last one. Keep that going, but I want you to stop at the second to the last one because the last one will be different. Right now, I just ran out of line. This part is for the beginners. What I'm going to do right here is to pass my line around my work, okay? That is, follow the pattern back until you get all around this. Notice what I am doing. I am going corner by corner. I'm following the pattern I made. Okay, I'm not just passing it around casually because we do not want our line to be visible to the eye. We want to hide it neatly inside our work. Once you are sure your work is firmly passed around and very tight, you can decide to tie at the end of everything, but make sure whenever you're tying, the knot hide neatly between those beads. When you're done passing around, you then cut off the excess line with the scissors. So let's do that. I am done with that. So right here, let's continue from where we stopped. I'll pass my line right into where I was, connect it to the next bead. Then on the left, I just continue with my routine of 2 beads. I add 2 beads to the left and I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So let's keep up with this routine. Remember, our goal was to meet at the second to the last bead all the way there. Let's go. I am right here on the second to the last one. So we're going to go with our usual routine. On the left, we're going to add 2 beads, then we cross both ends of the line into the last one added. We draw that down. Now the second to the last one is complete. It is now time to complete the last one. The right hand side of the line would go into the next bead. Still on that right hand side of the line, I won't add to the left because I want to end the row and start a new one. So on the right hand side this time, I'm going to add 2 beads, then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw that down. So it takes me to the other side and not the top as usual. And finally, we have completed the second row. And to start a new row, on the left hand side, you are going to add 3 beads, then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Then you draw that all the way down. So now the first ring on the third row is created. To continue, we keep up with our usual routine of 2 beads. The right hand side would go into the next bead right there. Then on the left hand side, you are going to add 2 beads. You keep this up going until you get all the way down again. This is all you need to know to build up the rows of this bag. You want to keep these steps going until you reach your desired row height. So I have done 2 rows so far, 2 complete rows so far, and now I am on the 3rd row. So I want to keep this step going until I get to my desired height. I'm going to do this until I get to 12, okay? Let's go. I am right here at my desired height. I have beaded all the rows so far. This is where I'm going to stop. This is what my work looks like. So I want to repeat everything I have done on this side to this other part of the clutch as well. Remember how we started, okay? We went into the upper part of the clutch, that is those 2 holes there. Then we crossed with 1 bead before we added 3 beads on the left and crossed into the last one. So you want to keep that going until you achieve everything we have done on the other side. So let's do that. I am done with that, and this is what my work looks like so far. Both sides are now finally complete. We are progressing. It is now time to join both sides of this bag together to make it a whole bag. To do that, I want you to look closely at what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to count 4 beads downwards. Then I'm just going to exclude it. Why? You'll find out later, okay? Then I'll go into the 5th bead right now. You cut out some line. Then you pass the right hand side of your line through that 5th bead there like this. Draw that out. Then on the left hand side of the line, you are going to add 1 bead. Then you connect it to the other side. So like we did, we want to count 4 beads downwards. We exclude it, then we go into the 5th bead like this. Draw that out. Make sure your line is of equal length, okay? And this is what you have. Then we take 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Draw that down. So this closes it up. We just closed the first one. To proceed, both sides of our line are going to go into those next beads there. So the right hand side of the line would go into that next bead, and the left hand side would go into the one on the left. Okay, so let's do that. The right would go to the right and the left would go to the left. Then we're going to take 1 more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Now the second one has been closed. To proceed, we repeat what we just did, okay? Both sides of the line will go into those 2 beads. The right would go to the right and the left would go to the left. Then we take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And now the third one is complete. So you want to keep this going until we get all the way down, okay? Let's do that. I am on the last ever one now, so let's complete it. Both sides of the line would go into both beads. Then we take one bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. And now it is finally complete. We are done with this process. So right here, I'm just going to pass around my line and cut off the excess. That is, follow the pattern back to make sure everything is secure. I am done with that, and this is what I have so far. So we want to repeat everything we have done on that side to this other side as well. Let's go. I'm finally done joining both sides, and this is what my work looks like. Okay, we are almost done, 90% done actually. It is now time to create the bottom part of this bag. We want to fill in the gap. So firstly, we're going to define the edges of the bag. That means make sure the edges and the sides are equal. You want to make sure everything is of equal length. So right here I have 11 rings each, and on this side I have 15 rings each. Okay, so this is what you want to do. Once that is done, I want you to look closely at these 2 beads on the edge right there. Those 2 beads, we're going to pass our line through it like this. Go into the second one as well. Draw your line out, make sure it is of equal length, okay? Then on the right hand side of the line, I'm going to add 2 beads. Then I cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Draw it down. And now we just created the first ring on the first row. To continue, the left hand side will go into the next bead right there. Then on the right hand side, I'm going to add 2 beads. Then I cross both ends into the last one added. Now the second ring on the first row has been created. To continue, we repeat what we just did. The left goes into the next bead there, and on the right we add 2 beads. Then we cross both ends into the last one added. So you want to keep up with this step until you get all the way down. Keep going until you get all the way down, or stop right here on the second to the last one. Let's go. I am right here on the second to the last one, and I have completed that. We want to complete the last one now. So this time around, I'm going to go into those 2 beads right there. Why? Because this is like a dead end, right? If you decide to do your usual routine, the whole thing is going to be bulgy on the side, and you do not want that to happen. So on this part, that is the last ever ring on the row, you're gonna go into 2 beads. Then you take one more bead and cross both ends of your line into that bead, and this is what you have. Your row is now complete. To continue, let's create a new row. So the left hand side of the line would go into that next bead on the edge there, like this. Draw your line out. Once that is done, then still on that left hand side, we are going to take 2 beads and cross both ends of the line into the last one added. And this is what you have. You just started your second row. To proceed, the right hand side will go into the next bead. Then on the left hand side, you are going to add 2 beads, then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. Then you draw that all the way down. Okay, Let's proceed. We repeat what we just did. The right hand side will go into the next bead, then on the left hand side you are going to add 2 beads, then you cross both ends of the line into the last one added. So this is our usual routine of 2 beads. We want to keep this going until we get all the way down. Let's go. I am right here on the second to the last one now. Let's complete it with our usual routine of 2 beads. So we're going to add 2 beads on one side of the line and cross both ends into the last one added. Then we draw that all the way down. It is now time to complete the last ring. So we take, that is the left hand side of our line, into that bead and this other bead right there. So we're going to go into 2 beads because this is a dead end. So we pass our line into those 2 beads right there. Once that is done, we'll then take one more bead and cross both ends of the line into that bead. Finally, the second row has ended. This is what we have done so far. To create a new row, do you remember what we do? We go into the next bead with the right hand side of our line like this. Then still on that right hand side, we are going to add 2 beads, then we cross both ends into the last one added. Then we draw that all the way down. So honestly, this is all you need to know to build up the bottom part of this your bag. We have done 2 complete rows so far, and now we are on the 3rd row. So keep up with this step. You go all the way down. Remember to take note of the dead end where you go into 2 beads and cross with 1 bead. Keep this going until you have filled up the gap, but I want you to stop at the last ever bead because that last one is going to be different. Okay, let's meet up right there at the last bead. Let's go. I am right here at the last part. This is how far I have gone, and as you can see, we have just 1 bead left. To complete this last row, we are going to go into those 2 beads on the edge because this is a dead end. So we're going to pass the right hand side of our line into those 2 beads right there. Once that is done, I will then take 1 bead and cross both ends of my line into that bead. Then I draw that all the way down. Now the first one has been closed. To proceed, both sides of the line would go into those 2 next beads as usual. Then we take 1 more bead and cross both ends of our line into that bead. The second one is now closed. This process is our usual routine of 2 beads. So we want to keep up with this step until we get all the way down, okay? Let's go. I am right here on the second to the last one. So both ends of my line would go into both beads. Then we take 1 bead and cross both ends of the line into it to make it complete. For the last and final one, as you can tell, the last one already looks like it's complete. But we are still going to do our usual routine. So the right would go to the right hand side and the left would go to the left hand side. Then we cross both ends into that last bead right there on the edge, okay? And that concludes the joining of the bottom part of the bag. So from here on, we're just going to pass around our fishing line and cut off the excess. So let's do that. I am done with that, and this is what it looks like. We just completed our bag. Now for the moment of truth. Will this bag turn out well, or have we just been playing? Let's find out. Adjust everything properly. Okay, drum roll. Press it down on the edge, and ta-da! This is what we have. So the bag turned out perfectly fine. Ooh, look at that clutch on the edge. This is so beautiful. This is what our bag looks like. Everything is looking nice. Now I want to give attention to those 4 beads we excluded earlier when we were joining the sides of this bag. This 4 beads helps the clutch to fold in with ease. If we had joined everything together, it won't just work out at all. It would bulge on the sides instead, and we do not want that. Okay, so this opening is needed to make sure the sides of your clutch fold in. And if you would like to make a bigger size of bag, as you can tell, my clutch handle isn't the big size, you might want to exclude more than 4 beads on the sides, maybe 5 beads downwards, 6 beads downwards. You want to make sure the sides of the clutch folds perfectly. Another thing you may wonder is if you can use another type of bead for the design of this bag. To answer that, I want to show you something. I tried using a size 8mm bead for this, and look at how cluttered it looks. It did not work out at all. I think this happened because of the spacing in between the clutch handle. The beads were too big for the spacing in between the holes. I will recommend you use like a size 10 beads, but that would enable you to skip holes, okay? Instead of going directly into the next hole, you go into the next 2 holes, then from beneath you go into the previous hole, okay? I hope that's clear. The clutch handle also came with a detachable strap. I just removed this in the beginning part of the video, so I'm just going to clip that on. I'll also add some design to it because it looks too plain. And yeah, this is how it looks like. It makes the purse look better, yeah. If you would like a tutorial on how to add like an inner lining and inner pouch into this your beaded clutch, let me know so I can make one. If you have any more questions or need help along the way in the making of this purse, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram at Bead with Jenny. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share to your friends who would love to make this bag, okay? I'll see you all in my next tutorial. Goodbye.